couple episodes ago, I typed up a document listing all of the mysteries that the game proposed that I could think of off of the top of my head thus far. And right now, the game hasn't given a resolution to any of them. It's given me more information, but it has given me no progress towards actually discovering the answer to any of those mysteries. It's only reminded of mysteries I may have forgot about in the document, like who kicked the can and, who ate the hot dogs. I think I might have brought them up, but I'm not sure. And made new ones, like who was counting. All it's done is made new mysteries. So the game is really, really stacked, like the amount of mysteries. A game that's very famous for doing this is Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. I don't even know if uh, VLR, as it's abbreviated, even does like stack up this high. So kind of ridiculous. We'll see if it actually manages to resolve all these, or at least give the player enough tools to kind of figure out within a reasonable doubt what the answer is to each of them. So recall the kid. His is from 50. His common route or trunk scenes go from 50 to 74. Now you can't see the scene names during gameplay like you can in Ever17. So that's 25 scenes though. So you don't really know which scene you're on. You have to kind of guess which scene was which events. But I presume Naku and Mayo, Unexpected Harmony, and Encode Decode are all pieces of that very long conversation between Sarah, you, and the kid in the user route, where they describe how Sarah and you met. So then right after that, there's some scenes that are missing, because those are for like a Sarah route that hasn't been opened. And then we have 3 more scenes until we get to a route. Now, Kick the Can is number 65. Then there's the morning where Takeshi discovers the hot dogs are gone, which again does not happen in Takeshi's routes, only in the kids' routes. Then we get to this conversation, and then then we have only 3 more scenes till we get to routes. Now, the time in which this conversation would have taken place is already passed, where I am in Takeshi's route, but this conversation isn't done because Sara isn't in Takeshi's route. So we're already into fixing the warped support. So basically, instead of this conversation, we go fix the warped support with Tsumugi or Tsugumi. I'm still saying Tsumugi. Maybe it should just be Tsumugi. Anyway, so that would take the place of this, and then yeah. This recording that I'm doing right now is a result of a scheduling failure. So I only have about a half an hour to record. Result of a scheduling failure that I would have done something else, but then I didn't have enough time to do that. But then I have time to record a little this, so I'm recording a little this. And then if I don't do that thing I plan to do now, tomorrow I'd be tempted to do this instead, and we're going to have another Tsugumi scene and whatever. So, but again, I haven't seen a history bar, so I don't know how long this is going to be yet. Hopefully, it's short this time. I just want to do the scene where Koko, Takeshi, and Tsugumi fix the whatever it is. It's like a trust or support or whatever the name was for it, and then that's it. And that should get us about approximately 3 scenes away from a route, if I'm predicting this correctly. Now, that it is a little bit of a difference in the number of scenes. The kid has 25 scenes in his trunk. Takeshi, he's only had 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 so far. So if we end up in a trunk in about 6 scenes. That's 18 scenes, which is fewer scenes than the kids. But whatever. Um, if you're curious about these numbers, there they are. We're apparently getting close to half the scenes. Um, Pass, we're getting close to half. Percent complete, we're getting close to a third. This is just nonsense. The screensaver pictures. Um, I don't know. You can't see. You can't blow these up. You have to save them. So this is like the thumbnail size as big as it's gonna get. That was a CG. That was a CG. This is CG. We have these two CGs we haven't gotten to yet. This one we might get to soon. I don't know. Um, it's Tsugumi petting a mouse. Kind of a spoiler, isn't it? Okay. Let's knock out this Tsugumi scene. We climbed the emergency stairs quickly. Even if there wasn't any need to hurry, we couldn't afford to waste any time. Tsugumi set her sights on the floor above and started lugging the heavy toolbox. Coco and Pee followed right behind. By the way, Sora, I asked Sora, who was gliding alongside me, something that had been on my mind.
はい、倉成さん、何でしょう。
Yes, Takeshi, what is it? You mentioned you'd overslept earlier.
ごめんなさい。
Yes, I'm sorry. You see, I'm programmed to have a personality, so I have to kind of pretend to do these things. Sora's face went a deep shade of red.
実は今朝、私のデータが入っているサーバーの定期メンテナンスが自動で行われたのですが。
Actually, there was routine maintenance on one of the servers, where my data is stored. It initiated automatically this morning.
その復帰処理に手間取ってしまったようです。事前のチェックが甘かったですね。申し訳ありません。
It appears that it took some time for the return processing. I was a little too optimistic on the preliminary check. I'm terribly sorry. So that's what it was. Ha ha ha. I laughed for some reason.
何かおかしかったですか？私。
Did I say something amusing? No, some people just kind of laugh when there's no other sounds to make and they want to make a noise. Like nervous laughter. Sora was confused. No, I just thought it was funny that even you could oversleep, Sora.
はあ、面白いですか。
That's funny? Well, then why would you say it if it wasn't funny? How should I put it? It's cute.
かわいいですか？
Kawaii? Yeah.
そんな寝坊がかわいい？
Sleeping in is kawaii?
理解不能です。
That does not compute. Sora's eyes went round. Maybe it was because this particular use of the word wasn't in her database.
私は皆さんにご迷惑をおかけしたのに。
I've caused all of you such trouble. Hey, nobody's angry. Don't let it bother you. Everyone knows that you're working hard.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Yes, thank you. Although Sora looked somewhat puzzled, her cheeks seemed to glow with joy. And for some reason, I found that amusing too.
そうですか。かわいいですか？
Really? Is it kawaii? I thought it was a charmingly innocent reaction. I suppose it was the kind of thing you'd call kawaii. We reached Zvite stock. It didn't look like there was anything wrong with the floor, but I could hear a small hissing sound. I headed in the direction of the noise. Still, there wasn't any sign of this yesterday. Why do you think this happened all of a sudden?
そうですね。何もかも予測通りとはいかないものですが。
Well, everything doesn't go always according to plan.
みんなが飛び跳ねたからかな。
Is it because everyone was bouncing around so much? Coco said this casually. The voice acting wasn't very casual, though.
ほら、みんなで騒がしくしてたから。
Well, because everyone was making such a commotion.
だからレミューが傾いちゃったのかな。
I wonder if that's why Lemieux started to tilt. I don't think so.
そうかもね。
Maybe it is. Tsugumi laughed softly.
でも、修理すれば大丈夫だから。
But if we make some repairs, everything should be fine.
そうだよね。ね、つぐみん。
Yeah, I guess so, right, Tsugumi?
ええ、心配いらないわ、ここ。
Yeah, don't worry about it, Coco.
よかった。
Oh, I'm so relieved. You say too many words, though.
ピッピキピ、プップクプ。
I don't know if all right was in that at all. The Lager house. We stood in front of the room where the hissing sound was coming from. Yep, the noise is coming from the warehouse.
ちょっと倉庫内の状態をスキャンしてきますね。
I'm going to perform a scan to determine the status of the area. Saying that, Sora disappeared. The steam in there isn't going to explode if we open the door, right? After I asked that, Tsugumi eyed the door uncertainly.
そうね。平気なんじゃない？
It's probably fine. You can tell? Hey, you aren't...
適当に言ってみただけよ。
I'm just saying what you want to hear. Sora suddenly appeared near the door.
確認しました。
I've run the diagnostic.
気圧正常。有毒ガスの発生なし。室内気温、湿度はともにわずかずつですが上昇中。
Atmospheric pressure is normal, no traces of toxic gas detected. The temperature and humidity of the room are rising in slight increments.
パイプの一部が破損して少し水が漏れています。水深は深いところで10センチ程度です。
The area of the pipe has ruptured. An area of the pipe has ruptured, and there is a slight water leak. The water is about 4 inches at its deepest point.
それなら、大したことないわね。
It's hardly anything at all, unless the water is scalding.
まあそうですね。
Well, yes, but... Let's go in. If we fix it, there won't be a problem, right?
はい、お願いします。
Yes, please hurry. I opened the door. I looked at the wall where the hissing sound was coming from. There was a faint crack in the pressure-regulating pipe, and water was dancing out of it in a fine mist. And that's all it was. It didn't seem like we had anything to worry about. I thought we'd be able to fix it in no time. Tsugumi had opened up the toolbox and started spreading a few tools out in front of her. What do we need to do?
パイプが少し歪んでしまっているわ。金具を締め直すから、パイプを持って支えてくれる？
The pipe is bent a little bit. I'm going to clamp a metal sleeve on it. Would you support the pipe for me? Roger that.
ここは？
What should I do? This bore me with excess lines.
向こうの、このパイプがつながってるバルブがあるの。わかる？あれを少しだけ緩めてほしいの。
On the other side of this, there should be a valve attached to this pipe. You see it? I want you to loosen that a bit.
はーい、了解。
Okay, gotcha. We all started working in unison. We opened and closed the valves on a number of pipes, reattached pipes, and welded shut cracks. You seem really used to all this.
何が？
What do you mean? Welding. Where'd you learn that?
知りたいの？
You want to know? Oh, well, it's just that,
どうでもいいことを聞くの、悪い癖よね。
you know, asking meaningless questions is a bad habit of yours. After that, I didn't feel I could ask anything else. Sora just stayed close to us watching. After a while, an intercom rang from the corner of the room. Huh? Did someone call?
すみません皆さん。田中さんが私を呼んでます。向こうに行かなくてはならないのですが。
I'm sorry, everyone. It seems like you is calling me. I need to go. Okay, go for it. We should be able to handle the rest ourselves.
はい。では、あとはお願いしますね。
Okay, I'll leave the rest to you. Sora got close to the intercom, and it looked like she got sucked into the receiver. I knew she could travel instantly, but still, it was disconcerting.
たけし、ぼーっとしてないで、次のパイプをお願い。
Takeshi, don't just stand there. On to the next pipe. Looks like pipe is a borrowed word from English and Japanese. It's literally pipe. Huh? Okay.
まず、そこの青いバルブを。
First, take that blue valve and... The water underfoot hadn't gone down at all. Although the drain pump was moving, the drainage pipe was broken.
そしたら、次に赤いバルブをひねって。
After that, I want you to turn the red valve. We'd fixed a number of pipes, but the sound of escaping steam still hadn't stopped.
それじゃここ、少しそこで待ってて。
All right, Coco, wait just a bit.
準備 OK だよ。
Okay, I'm ready.
たけし、今言った順番でバルブをお願い。
Takeshi, move the valves in the other order I told you. Now.
ちょっとたけし、聞いてるの？
Hey, are you listening, Takeshi? Huh? Yeah, alright, I'm sorry. Blue then red, right?
そうよ。緩めて、それから閉めるの。
Yeah, loosen them and then shut them again. I set to work upon the blue valve in front of me. I was supposed to loosen this. Which way was I supposed to turn this again? Usually it's counterclockwise. I'm supposed to turn this counterclockwise, yeah? I turned the blue valve with all my strength. The sound of rushing steam grew softer. Alright, next close the red valve. The next valve was nearby. Clockwise to close. This one goes clockwise, right? And turn the red valve. The strength of the steam coming from the pipe weakened. Although there's a massive blast of game audio to the contrary. Alright, that does it. Okay.
ここ、あとちょっとだけ支えてて。
Coco, hold on just a little longer. The game decided not to trick me and give me left-handed valves. Okay. Holding up her left hand to shield her face, Tsugumi operated the welding torch with her right hand. Oof. Like, not only do you have to shield your face from the heat coming off, but you also want to shield your eyes from the light coming off. So, if she's just covering her eyes with her hand, how does she see what she's doing? Yeah, I took auto shop in high school because I wanted to take auto shop in high school. And some upperclassmen were welding a exhaust pipe to like an exhaust pipe like hanger on a truck. And they didn't succeed, but they asked me to hold the exhaust pipe up while they did the welding. And the upperclassman said, don't look at it because, well, you can go blind. The teacher later said that too, but not as my next course. The crack in the pipe closed visibly. Yeah, no, they did not succeed in welding the exhaust pipe back on. So for some reason, the welds were always weak and they kept breaking. The crack in the pipe closed visibly.
たけし、ここをつけたらすぐにそっちのバルブを元に戻して。
Takeshi, after I've finished attaching this, return the valves to their original positions. Okay, gotcha. Tsugumi finished welding.
バルブを、早く！
The valve, hurry! Alright, geez. Quickly turn the valve back in the other direction. I could feel the steam flowing through the valve.
ここ、そのパイプはもういいわ。次はお願い。
Coco, this pipe's done. Go on to the next one.
OK? どこ？
Okay, where is it?
そうね。ちょっと待って。
Hold on just a second. The water underfoot still hadn't gone down at all and was swirling around. The air conditioner on the wall was sucking in water and gurgling it out. It appeared it had also shorted out. I could see blue-white sparks jumping around inside. I hope it doesn't shock me. I was starting to get a little scared. Crack. The air conditioner made an awful sound. And all of a sudden, muddy water started overflowing from the exhaust vent. The area around my legs was quickly getting grimy.
排水が逆流してる。気をつけて。
The drainage is starting to backflow. Be careful. Wah! My leg got caught up in the jet of muddy water and I lost my balance. I reached out to grab something. I caught on a stack of crates and old containers lying nearby. Crash. Although the crates caught my waist, they shifted and began spilling over. Countless containers and rusty pipes started raining down. They passed me and headed on a direct course to hit the wall. And their path was... Coco, watch out! Ah.
避けて
Get back! Metal was raining down. The old pipe broke apart into thousands of pieces. The containers were splintering. They all struck the surface of the shallow water violently. The sound of hard, heavy objects falling echoed in the room. The whole room quivered. A few pipes along the wall had ruptured and were spewing out water. And where Coco had been sitting only a moment earlier, Tsugumi lay fallen over. Okay, she doesn't look like she's been impaled. Although that... Huh. Bit of a seizure warning. A little bit too late here. Coco looked around at the spectacle and hugged Pee-Pee to her tightly, her hands trembling. Just before the metallic objects had crashed down on Coco's back, Tsugumi had thrust her out of the way. She protected her while risking her own life. Tsugumi! The metal shard had dug deeply into Tsugumi's right thigh, and it didn't look like she could move. Oh, so it did impale her. Like, I looked at that, and I thought the angle looks like it's going, like, above her thigh and not directly into it, and so I was like, okay. But apparently it's supposed to depict it going directly into it. Steam was pouring out of the burst pipes surrounding us. And the drainage pump, not doing its job, continued belching out muddy water in large quantities.
I
guess I messed up. Tsugumi grimaced and clasped her thigh tightly. She was losing a lot of blood. What's it with the dark complexioned, long-haired, dark-haired, long-haired, dark-eyed girl and losing a lot of blood? The murky water was getting redder by the moment. Hey, you okay? That's not the right thing to say. The right thing to do is squeeze it off.
これが大丈夫に見えるの
Does this look okay to you?
まったくバカなこと聞くのね
Allie's asking stupid questions. Stop laughing, I'm going to get that stuff off you, just wait. I hurried through the water to Tsugumi and tried to lift the metal off of her. But no matter how hard I tried, the heavy chunk wouldn't move. Darn it.
無駄みたいね
Looks like it's no use. In the meantime, the water level had risen from ankle to knee height. Tsugumi! Coco crawled over to get closer to Tsugumi.
来ないで
Get away from me! Stung by Tsugumi's cold words, Coco stiffened and stopped.
逃げなさいここ
Get out of here, Coco.
たけしも早く逃げた方がいい
You too, Takeshi, get out while you can.
このままだと この部屋の隔壁が持たない。
At this rate, this room's partitions won't last.
みんな死ぬことになるわ。
You'll all die if you stay.
だから
So hurry.
早く
Talked over the line.
逃げなさい。
Get out of here. But, stupid idiot, do you think I can just leave you?
しょうがないでしょ。ここから動けないんだし。
There's nothing you can do, right? I'm stuck here. I mean, this is really all Takeshi's fault, because he brought the pipes down, didn't he? Just gloss over that.
この怪我じゃどうせ手遅れ。
And with this injury, you can't help me anyway. Shut up! I roared out. I won't let you give up on me now, damn it. Hey Coco, what are you standing there for? Yes. Get on that intercom and contact the others. With all their might, Coco moved her trembling legs to get closer to the intercom.
壊れてる。ボタンを押しても通じないよ。
It's no use, it's broken. I pushed the button, but nothing happens. So run up and tell the others to get over here.
わかったよ。
Okay, I'm going. Although she looked flustered, Coco nodded and ran off. The door to the warehouse closed. Soon water came up to the bottom of the door. The water continued to rise. From her waist down, Tsugumi was almost completely underwater. The water level was almost over my knees.
何突っ立ってるのよ。
What are you trying to prove?
意味もなくそんなとこにいないでよ。目障りだから。
It doesn't mean anything. Just leave. I don't want you here. I wouldn't be here if there wasn't a reason. I can't just leave you here.
どうして？
Why not? I've taken nothing but abuse from you and you still haven't thanked me properly yet.
ああ、そう。いい心がけね。
Thanked you for what? Bringing all the... like, grabbing onto a pile of boxes. Then the boxes falling over and breaking all of the pipes. You haven't thanked... and then causing your imminent death. You haven't thanked me yet for killing you. Yes. That's a good reason, I suppose. Oh, really? Well, that's reason enough, I suppose. At least I'm entertained. Tsugumi laughed weakly. Her lips were trembling. The murky water was spreading.
ちょっと寒くなってきたかな。
It's gotten cold in here. Alright, Tsugumi, I need you to stay with me now. I chose my words as carefully as possible.
正気よ、私。
Perfectly sane. You'll be okay, the wound isn't that deep, so don't worry.
大丈夫なんて。何を根拠に言ってるの？
You'll be okay. What makes you think that?
どうかしてるわね。
You're the one who's crazy. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I wasn't paying attention and you got hurt. The water was rising up to Tsugumi's head. A section of the partitioning had broken and seawater was rushing in. The water was ice cold and seemed like it would freeze us. The water volume increased mercilessly. Her face contorted with pain. In agony, she labored for breath. There wasn't any time. Making up my mind, I dove into the water. I couldn't open my eyes. All that I could do is search the bottom using my intuition. Ah. Damn it. Using all my strength, I heaved up the large mass of metal sticking into Tsugumi's leg. This actually makes sense because if the room fills with water, it makes it easier to lift stuff. Aided slightly by the buoyancy of the water, the metal hunk moved slightly. Tsugumi pulled her leg out at once. I lifted my face out of the water, gulping greedily for air. The flooding wouldn't stop. The water level was already above my shoulders.
あなたって
You
バ
are
カね。
such a stubborn idiot. Shut up and just keep quiet. With her leg injured, there was no way Tsugumi could swim. Holding on to her, I headed for the exit. But the door was already underwater.
ねえ、助かりっこないわ。
Look, there's no way you can save me. I told you to keep quiet. There's got to be another exit. I'll look for it. It'll be okay. We'll find a way out of this.
また大丈夫って。無責任ね。
There you go again, saying it'll be okay. You're so irresponsible. Would you keep quiet? I probably could have forced open the door if I had tried, but it would have put the second floor in danger of flooding. I searched desperately for an emergency exit. My legs wouldn't touch the floor. Well, whatever way you exited the room, that place would flood, right? I could hardly breathe. I was at my limit. There's a ladder in the corner of the room. There's a ladder. We can use it to get to the emergency passage. We're going to make it, Tsugumi. I swam with all my might to get to the ladder. With Tsugumi draped over my back, I climbed up the ladder. That's actually really hard. That's impressive. I opened the flood hatch at the end of the ladder and pushed Tsugumi through. Going up immediately behind her, I quickly shut the hatch. You can get like pneumonia so hard. The sound of the flood faded away, but there wasn't time to rest. Tsugumi was still losing blood. And you lost all your tools. Yeah, I left the whole toolbox in the warehouse. Anyway, I took her up on my back and began to run. Which way should I go? A dead end in the passage had me totally lost.
倉成さん、
Takeshi. Sora appeared suddenly in front of me. Sora, Tsugumi is...
分かっています。ココちゃんから報告を受けました。
I know, I heard everything from Koko-chan.
救護室に連れてきてください。田中さんが処置準備を進めてくれています。
Bring her to the infirmary immediately. Yu is currently preparing to treat her. All right, I'm on my way. Now, which way do I go?
その通路を戻って右の階段を降り、通常通路へ。
Turn back along this passage, go down the stairs on the right, and take the standard passage to... Okay. Tsugumi. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. Tsugumi groaned painfully from her place on my back. Even if she thought it was irresponsible of me, I couldn't bring myself to tell her it's no use, it's too late. As long as I had even a little hope, I didn't want to throw it away. I burst into the infirmary. I set the injured Tsugumi down on the bed. She'd lost so much blood. We had to take emergency measures immediately. Hey, what are we going to do? Get out of the way. You, who've been waiting in the room, pushed me out of the way. A tourniquet was taken out from the rack of medical instruments on the wall and fastened around Tsugumi's thigh.
ちょっとまずいわね。
This is bad. What's the status? How bad is it? Can't we use the scanner to check it out? I pointed to the LMRI.
あれはダメ。故障してるみたいなの。
It seems to be broken. Yeah, because it's just not plugged in.
私が見ます。
I'll have a look. Sora put her hand on Tsugumi. A holographic window appeared in the air. A small sensor or camera started moving on the ceiling.
あくまで生体スキャンの応用ですから、はっきりとは申し上げられませんが。
Well, this is just a bioscan, so I can't tell for certain, but...
大腿骨に損傷。複雑骨折しているかもしれません。
Her femur is fractured, and it looks like it might be compound.
それと、動脈が切れています。切開縫合が必要でしょう。
That and the artery is severed, she'll need sutures.
私、自分の指くらいなら縫ったことあるよ。サバイバルキットでだけど。
I've stitched up my finger before. It was with a survival kit, but...
では田中さん、お願いできますか？
Oh, you? Do you think you can assist me?
なんとかやってみるよ。麻酔は？
I'll do my best. Do we have anesthetic?
用意します。他にもレーザーメス、監視、縫合紙、必要なものはすべてこの部屋にありますから。
I'll get it ready. The laser scalpel, forceps, and sutures. Everything we need is already in the room. Laser scalpel. I know they're trying to sound sci-fi in 2034 or 2017 when this is in 2002, but it's like the same, like the limit as a lightsaber. What would make it stop? It seems a very impractical instrument. Sora moved the electric wagon and used its robotic arm to gather the necessary surgical tools. I mean, the photons don't stop, so your knife would be like as low. Well, it would decrease in intensity like 1 over r squared in the far field limit, but it would be. But it would still go by 1 over r squared, so you'd still get power. Maybe it would. If you. You would get a sharp cutoff in the power with distance, because light doesn't go like that. And if you couldn't get a sharp cutoff in power with distance, it would be really hard for it to act like a knife. It'd always produce some power a little bit beyond where you wanted it. Anyway. Sora moved the electric wagon and used its robotic arm to gather the necessary surgical tools. You flipped up Tsugumi's skirt and started wiping off the wound.
倉成
Takeshi,
そんなとこに立っていないでよ。邪魔になっちゃうから。
don't stand there, you're in the way. You pointed angrily at the exit. Yeah, sorry, take care of her, okay? Although, I'm the MC, so I have to be here to record it for the player.
任せなさい。
Leave it to me. You look determined to show us all what she was capable of. As soon as I left the tense atmosphere of the emergency room, my fatigue hit me. I set myself down on a nearby chair.
タケピョン。つぐみんは？
Oh, Takepyon, is Tsumugi going to be? Coco was holding on to Pee-Pee, but looked as if she was having a hard time relaxing. You let me know right away, so she should be fine. Let them know.
本当？
Really? Coco's eyes were moist. It was hard to tell, but she was probably been crying moments earlier. Even still, she tried to smile.
ねえねえ、つぐみんは？
Hey, do you think Tsugumi's...
つぐみんは大丈夫だよね。
Tsugumi's going to be okay, right? Well, she's never going to be the same. She's going to have a very big scar on her leg, and she's going to feel it every time it's cold. You would not want to be her. Still looking worried, she tilted her head as she asked me. Yeah, she'll be okay. Hopefully in this 2017 as they envisioned it in 2002, her leg is not going to end up permanently shorter. That has happened to my relatives. They've broken their leg multiple times over and it ended up short. But absolutely fine. But also that was like in conjunction with diabetes, so if you like it's not like it's guaranteed to happen. Anyway, I closed my hand into a fist and told myself, she's going to be okay. After what seemed like an eternity, you appeared from the infirmary with Sora. The surgery was over. Tsugumi was going to live.
40針ほど縫いました。全治2ヶ月といったところです。
It required a total of 40 stitches and will take 2 months to heal completely. What about how many... If she compound fractured her femur, it's going to take screws too, though.
元のように歩けるようになるには、さらに数ヶ月かかりますね。
And it will take her a few more months to be able to walk normally.
小町さんには救助が来て、レミューから出られるようになるまで安静にしてもらうことになるでしょう。
Until our rescue team arrives at Lemu and we can get her out of here, she's going to have to rest. Alright, thanks, Sora. And good job, you. You, what's wrong? What?
ああ、さすがにちょっと疲れたわね。
Was it oversight in the procedure? Nothing. I'm just really tired. You know?
こんな大手術なんてしたことなかったから。
Never done an operation like that before. After that, you looked down and didn't say much.
なお、ツバイトシュトック倉庫の浸水は止まりました。
By the way, it looks like the flooding stopped in the Zweite stock warehouse.
倉庫へつながる全配管を緊急閉鎖。ブロックごとツバイトから切り離しました。
All pipelines connected to the warehouse have been closed as an emergency measure, and the whole area has been sealed off from Zweite stock.
浸水被害拡大の心配はありません。
So we don't have to worry about the flood damage expanding.
以上です。
That's it then. And I guess in the kids' route, everything just went off without a hitch. Even though the only difference was that Coco was there this time. But, Coco didn't really cause any of the problems. The problem was the air conditioner started sparking, and then something started backflowing, and then Takeshi fell and pulled a bunch of boxes down on pipes. That would have happened even if Coco wasn't there. That's interesting. You know, it's like where they say, oh, the issue's really small, so it won't take much. But then you have like the power characters. You have Tsugumi there to fix it. It's like, yeah, it's small, all right. Never believe it when the plot says the issue is small. There's nothing to worry about. But the character with the power character has to go there anyway. Okay, so that should be it for this recording. Because we got through that scene. That was not what I was expecting to happen. Because, like, that just takes Tsugumi completely out of the game. Just totally not what I was expecting. That kid's a big curveball. Okay, return to title. By the way, this menu I'm clicking through to do these things is like a right-click menu, so it doesn't show up on the recording. If that's confusing you, yeah, that's why. It's like a drop down from right-clicking. Yes, save my system data. And I'll skip the intro this time. And then... listen to it here, too. Cool. See what that was called. Task completed jumped up quite a bit. Well... injury, and then short, and then we just started probably the first line of dialogue of short respite. Okay. So it's 18. To be the same amount of scenes as the kids trunk, we have 7 more to go. Well, actually, I have more than 7 because it's prologue. Yeah, so that's 5 to 18, so that would have been 16, because you double count the first one in this case. We haven't done 18 yet, though, so we've only really done 15. Wait, 5 to 8, 14. Okay, 18 minus 5 is 13. You add 1 because your 5 is like 0. So that's 14 scenes, and then we haven't actually done this scene, so we've only done 13 scenes. So, yeah, to match the amount of scenes in the kid's trunk, that would be 12 whole scenes. That's a lot of scenes. Let's see here. And how many are in this gap? We have 19 through 49, which is 31 total. That's amongst the remaining trunks and the routes. For the kid, the routes go from 75 to 121. So that would be... 26 plus 21, which is 47. Okay, so he has slightly fewer on the routes. actually. You have to subtract off Takeshi's, like, remaining. So there's actually more on the routes, because you have to subtract off Takeshi's remaining trunk scenes. Yeah, okay. So that would mean the kids is longer in general. I'm not really that, like, running on all four cylinders when it comes to counting right now. I can't count. I can do integrals much better than I can simply count things. Counting things is really hard. Adding and multiplying is really hard. Anyway. So that's that. Still, no mysteries. Takeshi continues to mess everything up, and no mysteries solved. Besides what the purpose of that random small issue was in the kids route that didn't seem to make any, like, matter at all. Okay.